Okay, we're going to look at titration calculations, and there's two scenarios that you'll deal with. The first scenario is when you have a strong acid and a strong base. These are the sort of titration calculations you've done. It's just normal stoichiometry. There's no equilibrium or anything like that, and this is what I think you would be expected to do far more frequently than the other type. So let's look at this one. 100 cubic centimeters of 0.5 molar hydrochloric acid reacts with 75 cubic centimeters of sodium hydroxide. What is the concentration of the sodium hydroxide solution? Okay, so we need a balanced equation. Hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide to form water and sodium chloride. Now, we know that we have 100 cubic centimeters of 0.5 molar hydrochloric acid and 75 cubic centimeters of the sodium hydroxide. The question is, what's the concentration? In other words, what's the molarity? Moles per cubic decimeter. So this is pretty much just stoichiometry. We're going to start with the one that we know all about, the hydrochloric acid. We have 100 cubic centimeters of it, and for every 1,000 cubic centimeters, or liter, there's 0.5 moles of HCl. Okay. Our mole ratio is 1 to 1, so for every 1 mole of HCl, we'll react 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. And we'll figure out how many moles that is. So that's going to be 0.05 moles of NaOH. Well, I need to know the concentration, the moles per liter. So I have moles, and I know the volume is 75 cubic centimeters. So if I divide that by 1,000, it's 0.075 liters. And I get a molarity of 0.67 moles per cubic decimeter. Alright. Other thing, identify a suitable indicator for this reaction. So it's a strong acid, strong base. That means our equivalence point is going to be at a pH of 7. So we're going to look at our indicator chart in our data booklet, and you can pick any of them that change color around 7, such as phenolphthalein. Okay, and so you might be asked why you would choose a certain indicator, and it's because the color change happens in the same range as the equivalence point, or some similar wording. The end point for it is in the same range as the equivalence point. All right, let's step it up a notch. 50 cubic centimeters of 0.2 molar potassium hydroxide is titrated with 0.1 molar hydrochloric acid. Determine the pH when 50 cubic centimeters of hydrochloric acid has been added, then for 100 and 120 cubic centimeters. So, first off, we got to have a balanced equation. We've got our potassium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, so we're going to form water. And our salt is KCl, and it's all a 1-to-1 ratio. So when 50 cubic centimeters of hydrochloric acid has been added, well, I don't know if that's the equivalence point or where that's at, but I'm going to guess, since I then have to do this for 100 and 120, that there's going to be some leftover potassium hydroxide. So let's start off with our 50 cubic centimeters of HCl and figure out what volume of potassium hydroxide is left unreacted. So my HCl is 0.1 molar. 0.1 moles for every 1,000 cc's. Then I'm going to use my mole ratio. And I'm going to use the molarity, that there's 0.2 moles of KOH for every 1,000 liters. or cubic centimeters, sorry, not liters, 1 liter. Okay, so So 25 cubic centimeters KOH. So this is how much has reacted. Well, we started with 50 cubic centimeters, so 50 minus 25. So we still have 25 cc's of unreacted potassium hydroxide. Okay, so I need to know the pH of this. Well, that means I need to know the concentration of the hydroxide. So I need to know the moles of hydroxide. So at 0.2 moles per liter, I have 25 cubic centimeters, 0.025. That's 0.005 moles of potassium hydroxide. Now, since this is a strong base and it's got 1 hydroxide per formula unit, that's also 0.05 moles of hydroxide. That's what we're really worried about here. And our total volume of the solution is currently 50 and 50. So 0.005 plus 0.005 liters. So I'm going to divide that by 0.01. 0.5 molar. Okay, so this is the hydroxide concentration. Well, I need to know the hydrogen ion concentration to get the pH. So you could either do the POH and then 14 minus POH gives you pH, or you could find the hydrogen concentration, so using KW, and then take the negative log of that. I'm going to go the POH route. So that gives me 1.30. So my pH, I'm going to subtract that 1.3 from 14, and I get a pH 12.7. Alright, let's do this when 100 cubic centimeters of hydrochloric acid has been added. So I'm going to do the same first step. So I'm finding my moles of hydrochloric acid. I'm going to do my mole ratio. And I'm going to, so what I'm calculating here is how much potassium hydroxide has reacted. And what I'll get is 50 cubic centimeters reacted. So, since I've reacted all of my potassium hydroxide, and I've reacted all of the HCl that's been added, this is the equivalence point. And it's a strong acid, strong base, so the pH is equal to 7. Because at this point, all that's in solution is my water and that potassium chloride, which has a strong parent base and a strong parent acid, so pH of 7. Okay, let's look at C. What happens, what's the pH when 120 cubic centimeters of hydrochloric acid has been added? Well, we know that at 100, the equivalence point exists and that everything's neutralized. So this means I have 20 cubic centimeters of excess HCl. Okay. So I'm going to figure out how many moles of excess HCl that is. Okay. My molarity for the hydrochloric acid is 0.1. is 0.002 moles of excess hydrogen, or hydrofluoric acid, or just HCl. Let's focus that. It's getting a little blurry. Okay, I want to know the pH, so I need to know the molarity of this. So I've got moles, I need to know liters. Well, I had 0.12 liters of the acid plus 0.05 from the base. So if I divide that 0.02 by 0.17, I'm going to get a molarity of 0.00118. So that's my concentration of the hydrogen ion. So if I take the negative log of that, I get the pH. Okay, so that's a strong acid, strong base problem. You should be able to do that very proficiently.